Uh, First of all, congratulations with your new role, Saku, and I hope it brings very much bright things to you. And these questions actually gathered together with the various profiles of our attendees in WeCode, experienced people, juniors, new learners, but we all have the same worries and fears that we came as immigrants and time is against us. How should we explain ourselves to the system, to the recruiters, to the companies, to Finland itself? What would be the best way with the language integration, schooling, or this concentrating on the skill sets, etc. That was the all aim for our questions to you, to understand how can we integrate ourselves in the best way. What should we focus on?
The question is, integrate into what? Is it into the work life or into the society or something else?
Work life.
I think.
For example,
go for it. No.
Sorry, I brought 10 years of experience here, and for example, what should I do to explain my background? I'm lack of experience in European countries. I'm lack of this culture here. What should I take steps to explain myself to here?
I am the best when it comes to having a look on a case. Do you have a LinkedIn profile?
Yes.
And where do you currently kind of like? There's a few Mohammed says.
Actually, we have connection with you. I'm just copying it.
So are you at Calculate?
Yes, I'm a worker. I'm asking this question for all our attendees.
Right.
Because our biggest worry, that's being an immigrant in Finland.
I think I partially understand your question and partially miss the deeper meaning, but I'll try to answer the part that I think I got. I think when it comes to kind of like newcomers to Finland, Finland's in a new position over the last 20 to 30 years when there's been newcomers coming to the country. It's Finland's been typically the place where people left to go to other countries. Think about Sweden, 500,000 people, left the country in 70s and 80s and 60s and etc. And in comparison to UK, where I've been to altogether for 5 years, that has long roots, of that, and because of that, I think there can be some workplaces whereby one can feel a little bit like it's hard to get in, and also if one gets in as the sort of the sole a newcomer to Finland, one can feel a little bit outside of other groups, but that's kind of like, that's my take of your question. But I think you meant also something else to this. Am I correct?
Yeah, that answers mostly. Besides that, we need to choose a way to how can I say that, accomplish ourselves in Finland as a newcomer. Maybe choosing the education way, maybe focusing on just language and culture, maybe just focusing on skill sets to get a job that companies welcomes the internationals. Which way is the best to do in here?
I have a feeling that quite often the job is the best way to integrate. That's what I've understood, that, if you have a chance of finding the role, that, it's easiest to get to find your place in the society as well, through the job, because Finland's been quite traditionally quite a work-oriented country, if you like, and culture. But at the same time, I think, of course, the language skills and etc. and different hobbies, and, if one has children going to hobbies and meeting other parents and etc., making friends and etc., it is something that, is very likely to sort of support the feeling of, feeling at home and being integrated. But I think when it comes to this notion of integration, it is always a very multifaceted theme, and there can be a lot of talk about there's the work element, there's the language element, and etc. And at the end of the day, I think there is no, I don't know if this is becoming a little bit philosophical now, but still if we were thinking ourselves, we've lived in Scotland for 4 years, if we were considering, staying there for good, and we foresaw that, okay, if we stay there, we will stick to, the local Finns, groups, at least for quite some time, because we feel like, okay, we can communicate with the locals because of English language, and we can make local friends, but also, we are very strongly, Finns, originally, and there's this, a fine balance between, I think one's integrated when one feels happy over there, per se. I don't know. It's not an easy question. I haven't thought about this in detail for such a long time, so it's hard for me to be, I don't know, helpful in my answer.
Okay. Thank you for all keynotes you gave us for a whole meeting.
No worries. And I warned 2 guys in my new job that I will be sharing their profiles with you. So I'll just share their links with you in the comments. I won't be saying their names, so that they won't be getting any further. But if you want, you can reach out to them and ask. They expect a few questions coming online via LinkedIn. There's Otso and Santeri. And if there's anything that you think about that you would be interested in having a chat or something, they are happy to reply, and because they've been developers themselves, and they are now managers and leading the digital service development. So it can be helpful, or who knows, if there's there might be a link to a role if there's any a good match, and etc. And also very happy to answer any messages if you send me via LinkedIn, and if this is a topic that where my perspective is useful on, happy to have a new session like this. So that's something that and I've been thinking about setting up a YouTube channel focusing on these topics, how to land a role in Finland or in other European countries, and how to find a relocation outside of EU and etc. Because I think there's no particular channels focusing on these topics, and this is definitely a topic of interest to me. Anyway, lots of ramble from my side. Apologies.
Thank you very much. For tonight, I know too much questions our friends want to ask, but after the very long day, Saku joined this program. Maybe he's so tired. We passed our 1 hour session.
No worries.
Maybe we can finish here, and we would like to meet you again.
Let's do that. That
Yes,
sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And speak to you online via LinkedIn messages, for example.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe next program we can meet in a place and ask question. The people ask their question. We can rent a place and we can speak again. We can meet face to face.
For example.
I'm sure we can speak with our friends.
Yeah.
And take your time again.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Enjoy the rest of the May at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of the attendees for tonight and all your questions. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.